Hey everybody, how are you? This is Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher. It is Friday, March 31st, 2023, and this is episode 24, I believe. Yes, I have my notes. Not so disorderly. Oops, sorry about that. So anyway, things are good, and I have a lot to share with you. It's kind of rainy here. I hope it's, not too bad where you are. But, I'll take the rain. We don't have to shovel it. Um, it's the end of the marking period. The marking period ended on Tuesday. We have about a week before we have to get grades in. And, of course, the kids were scrambling to get overdue work in. And, I struggle with that because sometimes I think we're doing the kids a disservice saying that, oh, you can turn it in, 6 weeks late, because let's face it, that's not real life. But I'm not going to fight the machine. So, yeah, things are doing really well. I have a lot to show you. I'm going to tell you about the retreat. I have some WIPS. I have a finish. And of course, I have haul because, that's me. So, let me get one thing I forgot and then we'll get started. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, yeah. So I want to thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for commenting. I do read them all. I don't always respond, but I do read them all, and I always heart the comments that I have read. Sometimes I do miss comments from older videos, but I try to go back in and double check and make sure that I've, at least read them and hearted them. So I greatly appreciate you stopping by. All right. So where do we start? That's why I have notes. All right. So let's talk about finishes. So as some of you were, if you've watched before, you know that for the retreat, we were given a design by, I think it's Frosted Pumpkin, to commemorate the retreat. And so while we were there, we actually got to finish it into a hangy thing. And this is the first time I've ever fully finished something with batting and cardboard and fabric on the back and glue stick and pom-poms and you name it, and I did it. And so yeah, I'm kind of pleased with it. So there we go. Not too shabby. So yeah, pickles and pierogies. I've never had a pierogi in my life. I have had pickles though. And somebody said that was sitting at my table, I don't know what the pickle's for. And I'm like, Heinz pickles and ketchup and all that good stuff. Because as some of you may know, it used to be Heinz Field. And it's no longer Heinz Field. In fact, they took the giant bottle of ketchup board, whatever, down this year. So that was kind of sad. I'm not a Pittsburgh fan, I do believe green goes better with gold. But, yeah, I'm kind of pleased with it. Turned out better than I thought it would. So, yeah. Even though I'm not a black and gold fan, I will hang it in a place of honor. All right. Let's talk about some things I worked on. Let me back up. Let me talk about the retreat. So I left mid-afternoon Thursday after I got my crown done. And I am so glad I did, because a normally 3-hour trip took me about 5 hours. And the reason being is it was a torrential downpour. It was straight turnpike the whole way until you get to east of Pittsburgh, and then you go off onto 376, which goes down around the south side of Pittsburgh. And the retreat was at a hotel near the airport. So I have not driven like that in a while. But there were times between the rain and the truck spray and the lightning. I hydroplaned twice. Um, I was going 40, 45 miles an hour on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and all of a sudden there'd be a truck. And then you have the people who insist on driving 60 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour in those conditions, and they're spraying water up into your windshield. And, I'm driving, right? And, my tooth hurts a little bit because I just gotten the crown put on. And I was just waiting, for those of you with a faith base, you know what that's like. And so I said my little prayer, and I'm like, just get me there. That's all I ask. And so then I get to 376, and you get to where, bumper to bumper, because by then it's pretty much rush hour, but it wasn't rushing. So you get through the city and across the river, and me being the nerd that I am, never realized that there were two tunnels on 376. And I don't know about you, but I really geek out on the tunnels on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. I have since I was a kid. But there were two tunnels in Pittsburgh, and after you get out the second tunnel, it's like there's hardly any traffic. So then it was, a straight shot to the hotel. So I got to the hotel, checked in, went up to my room, and I got on the phone, and I texted my husband, like, I want to come home, because it was just, I was so tensed up. But I was a good girl, and I stayed. And so I went down to I didn't know a soul, except for one gal that I had met in a Zoom, Barb, stitching with Grammy. And so I went downstairs to the restaurant. I was not about to go out anywhere, and especially in the rain. And so I was sitting there by myself, and these two ladies from Erie sat down, and we started talking. So we decided to sit together and in the ballroom the next morning. And then Barb came and joined us, and we were stitching in a side dining area, and Carla from Cobweb Corner came in, so she sat down and talked to us for a while. And if you watch Carla, you know that she had a horrendous experience flying to and from Nashville from Iowa. And so the first thing I said was, how was your flight? And she, a lot better, thank goodness. And it was so funny because Barb is an avid Michigan State fan, and they were playing Kansas City or Kansas State, or what, at K-State, whatever, that night, and there was a lady there with a K-State shirt on. So long story short, if you know, Michigan State lost. And anyway, so we stayed up and we stitched, and then went to bed, and got up the next morning and went downstairs and had breakfast. And while I was sitting there by myself, a lady said, can I join you? And I said sure. And we got to talking, and she was from down near Philly. And so then we got in line to check in to the ballroom to register and get our name tag and all that. And then another gal that I had met in a Zoom at the Jingle Ball, we started talking. Well, it turns out the gal from breakfast and this gal, Karen and Colleen, live like 20 minutes from each other. And so, we were all sitting together. And so then Anne, the slowpoke stitcher, and her friend Harry, he is a trip, they showed up and sat with us. So we were all there. We had one seat left, and a gal said, do you mind if I sit here? And we said no, come on, sit down, have fun. And her name was Liz, and she was from up near Erie. And needless to say, we just all hit it off. It was a trip. Um, so Saturday, as I was sitting there stitching, I decided that morning that I was going to work on Anton Ufendel by Hands Across the Sea. That was probably a mistake because I had the worst headache in the whole world. So I took a couple of Tylenol and I'm stitching, and it was not pretty because I'm stitching and I'm frogging and I'm stitching and I'm frogging and I'm stitching and I'm frogging. And finally I said, okay, I'm putting my head down. And everybody's like looking at me. So I pushed everything aside and I just put my head down. And somebody said I was out for a half an hour. I don't know if I was really out or if I was just zoning. But all of a sudden I felt the pressure in my head just go away. So I got up, and I think maybe I did sleep. Excuse me. And I finished my pickle and pierogi, and I started stitching some more. And then finally I said, okay, I got to put this aside because, that's not, I'm done frogging. But I was determined to get the border done on that thing. So we got up the next morning and had breakfast and went into the ballroom, and I started stitching on it again. And I made it, and then I got to the end, and I had to add one stitch. And I'm like, well, it's better than not having it meet together. Because what I had done was I had started in the upper left-hand corner and gone across the top and down the right side and over the bottom and then up the left to a certain point. And then for some reason I decided I wanted to go from the upper left-hand corner and come down and meet. So I was like, well, I'd rather add a stitch than have them not meet. And Colleen said, well, if it's a vertical stitch, you're off somewhere on the other side. So I looked. I was like looking through the magnifier and compare, contrast. I'm like, I can't find it. So I just put it aside, and I thought, okay, I'll look the next day. Well, the next day was Sunday. And I honestly wasn't in the mood to stitch. I waited for everybody to come downstairs and have breakfast and get to the table, and we talked a little bit, and I said, well, I'm going to head out because I'm going to have laundry to do, and I'm tired, and I'm probably going to take a nap, and I got to go to school Monday. So I left, and Colleen had volunteered to look for the mistake, and I'm like, no, I'm not worried about it right now. So yeah, it was, and you can see we have our SCS, Steel City Stitchers shirts. I got a sweatshirt, and this sweatshirt's awesome. It's a nice light fabric. And I got a long sleeve t-shirt and a t-shirt. But I guess what I'm trying to tell everybody is if you ever have the chance to go to retreats, go. I have always gone to or had been going to my Quilt Guild retreat, which is only about 10 minutes down the road for me. And it's a good time. It's a good time. It's a lot of focused, you and your machine. And we talk and we get along, we kid around. But this, when you're around the round table and you're stitching and you're going back and forth, it was a lot of fun. So if you ever have the chance to come to Pittsburgh and go to the Steel City retreat, please do. Watch the gals on YouTube, Steel City Stitchers. Kristen, Jody, Erica, and Aaron, they put on a great retreat, and I greatly appreciate all their work. I cannot believe everything that they probably had to do to get this up and running. And I do know they did one in 2019, but then, of course, 2020 was canned. And last year, in 2022, there was a snowstorm, and so a lot of people couldn't make it. But I don't even want to try and guess how many were there. But the room was packed. And then there was also a pop-up shop from the Crafty U, which is located in Cleveland. And of course, you get all caught up in the things. And yeah, but yeah, go to a retreat, have fun, meet some new people. And so the people that are the eight of us at our table are now known as the Stitching Peeps. Peeps as in marshmallow peeps, because Harry and Anne brought Dr. Pepper peeps. I'm not a real peep person. I like marshmallows. But peeps, Dr. Pepper peeps are to die for. I love them. So yeah. And then one of the gals said something about hot tamale peeps and fruit punch peeps. I'm thinking, well, fruit punch, I don't know. Hot tamales, I'm not a real cinnamon fireball person. But they were good. They weren't overpowering. So I really want to go to Walmart and find me some Dr. Pepper peeps. Yes, Dr. Pepper. So yeah, we had a great time, and it was well worth it. And of course, the drive back on Sunday, there's no bumper to bumper traffic. The sun is shining, the sky is blue. I'm like, driving. I'm like, oh wow, look, there's some windmills, and I couldn't have seen anything on going down on Thursday. And so, yeah, it was great. It was a nice 3-hour trip. According to the GPS, it was like 3 hours, and it was 3 hours. I stopped at the One Service Plaza at Somerset, hoping to get a Starbucks. I'm not a real Starbucks fan, but coffee's coffee. And I walked in, and Starbucks was closed because they're replacing it with a Dunkin'. Now, I do like Dunkin', but I was like, I can't get either one. So I had to get 7-Eleven coffee, and it just, fine, coffee's coffee right now. But I needed another one to get me the other hour and a half home. So, yes. But anyway, that's my retreat story. All right, so where was I going with that? Oh, I was going to tell you about haul and stuff like that. Or I showed you my finish. That's what it was. So, let's talk. Let's talk. So, I think I started this. This is in one of my bags I made with the spools and the measuring tape. And I do apologize for the zipping, but that's life. No, I haven't started this. Sorry. Alright, next. This is, I can't remember if I showed it to you or not last week, but this is the Tier 4 Mystery from Teresa Kogut, The Simple Life. I was not a good person, and I did not write a lot down the last time, so I do apologize if I am showing it to you again, but I got the 6 stars done on the side, and I haven't really done anything more. That color's really bad, but I don't want to turn off that light. Anyway, this is on the Overcast Linen by Cedar River, and I'm using all the called for colors, which is a combination of WIPS, Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, and DMC. Oops. So yes, they are very pretty. Maybe if I got rid of that a little bit. There we go. That's better. Alright. So that is in my Looney Tunes bag. One of the gals at the retreat was handing these little ribbons out, so I hung that on my... I originally started with 11 projects to go to retreat, and then I cut it down to 8, and then I cut it down to 3, but then I kept looking at them. Long story short, I took 6. This was one of them. Never touched it. Yes. Okay. Next project. This is in a project bag I made. I found this fabric. I geeked out over it. And I made one for me, and I sent one to Chris the camping stitcher because she does a lot of camping. And she is my enabler. So she said she said I always wanted to start. I should have started Hawk Run Hollow with this. And the more I looked at it, I was like, yeah, I love the colors in it. So we started the maps of Hawk Run Hollow. And it calls for 40 count vintage autumn gold. Well, I was like, all right. Designers pick colors for a reason. And who am I to argue over their artistic expertise? So lo and behold, I couldn't find this anywhere. And lo and behold, somebody on Stash Unloading on Facebook put up for sale a piece of Weeks Dye Works Autumn Gold. I don't know if this is vintage or not, but hey, it works for me. So I started it. Haven't gotten that far. But, a start's a start, right? So I started with the border. Where'd it go? Hello? There you are. So yeah, that's the border. Yes. So it calls for, I'm using the DMCs, it calls for DMC, or you could use NPI silks. Yeah, that's a lot of silk. That would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That would have been over $100. Now, I'm not saying I've never spent $100 in silk, but DMC's good. I still haven't put them on their floss drops, but yeah. So, it's a start. I'm good. Life is good. So that's in that bag. Yes. So Thursday night when I got to retreat, like I said, I was working on something really, really simple. I didn't want anything overly complicated because I was still a little stressed out. And yes. So I'd gotten this a while ago. This was one of my March whip goes. And the nice thing about this is it's big chunks of color. And it's on 25 count even weave Lugana Cloud by Lori Holt. And with even weave you still have to go over 2, but you don't have to watch the holes as much. At least I don't, because the threads are even, thus the name even weave. So I'm using all the called for DMC. The colors are very bright. They're also very tangled. Reminds me of my hair when I was little. My hair would always be tangled. And so I had gotten a lot done before I left, but I did get some done while I was there. So let me see, what can I put behind this? We'll put the Hawk Run Hollow. There we go. So I'm pleased. I am pleased. Gotta remember to put this back in the other bag. So, yep, I enjoy that one. That's my I don't really have to think stitch. And finally, the dreaded Anne Tong Uffendell. This is a bag I bought from Black Cat Stitchery. She makes some great bags. Got bees, got the honeycomb inside, and the bees on the back. I am using using the called for DMC, oodles of color. Hands Across the Sea also charts it for silks, but again, that's going to be a lot of silk. So, I'm sorry they're so scraggly looking, but such is life. So this is Anne. Where'd she go? There's Anne. Now you can see this border, all right? So I had started up here and gone across the top and down the side and over the bottom and then up to about here. So then I decided to start here and go down. And somewhere in here, one of these vertical spots is where I had to add the stitch. The other thing about this chart, if you ever do it, be very careful, because there is a rhythm, like, you know, how many stitches in these vertical, horizontal parts up here, and how many you have in the diagonal. But in the corners, they are different, and all four corners are different. So you have to be careful. But like, there were places in here in the diagonal I was putting one too many, I was putting one too few. These vertical places, you know, in the horizontal, they're horizontal up here, I wasn't putting enough, and it was just, it was painful. I probably frogged 5 times. So, like I said, I didn't want to deal with it before I left, and so I think it was Monday. I don't know what possessed me, but Monday I came home from school, and I thought, I am going to find that blankety blank mistake. So sure enough, when I got back over here, I had not put enough stitches in one of these vertical. I put one less, which of course threw the diagonal off, which means I had to add another stitch when I got to the vertical at the other end. So I didn't have a whole lot to rip out, but so I took it out, fixed it, boom, border is done. So then I got so excited, and I stitched some with Chris that night. Was it that night or Tuesday? No, it was that night. It was Monday night. And that I started working on the stems that come out of those little divots, like these stems right here. Okay, I call them divots because they go in, and you know what I mean. So I got so excited I started working on those. But, you know, I'm pumped that I got this much done, and the border matches, and, you know, she's a big girl. So now I feel like, you know, it's the easy part. The hard part's done. And one of the gals at the retreat had these cute little camper needle minders, and so I was passing out some of my disorderly stitcher floss drops, and she gave me one of these, so I thought that was cute. So anyway, yep, I'm pumped. The border matches, life is good, life can go on. All right, so yes, there's the bag without everything in it. I know I can make my own bags, but you know what? You gotta support each other, right? Right. So there's that. So that's what I worked on. And, you know, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I was pleased, even with my frogging. And of course, there was about 4 projects I never even touched. So, lesson learned, only pick 3 that you think you're going to work on, and then work on the 3, or work on 1, or whatever. All right. Now for the fun part of the program. Or wait, there is a start. but I don't know where it went, so I'll have to show it to you next time. So yes, the fun part of the program, which is the haul. So I saw Goose had made some bags out of this fabric, and I thought, okay, I love Denise's bags, but you know what, I'm gonna make them. I'm gonna make one for me just because I love it. And the fabric's from Minnick and Simpson, and so this is gonna be, I bought this fabric for the inside of the bag, and then the back and the zipper sides of the zipper tabs, they're going to be that. So yeah, I bought the fabric from Fat Quarter Shop, I think. And yes, someday I'll get all these bags done. So that's one thing I got. In the when we got there and we got our swag bag, all the finishing stuff for this was in the bag. And also in the bag was this nice pen. It says SCS. There was also a water tumbler, which is out in the kitchen right now. And there was this pretty gold and gray. I think it's supposed to be gold and black. Okay. From Forbidden Fiber Company. Steel City Stitcher floss in the bag. And yeah, and we got a bag, which is over there on the floor. So yeah, but then, you know, you have to go shopping because there is a pop-up shop. And yeah. So we're just going to do general haul, and then we'll talk about what I got at the pop-up shop, and then I will talk about some Happy Mail. All right, so I got the latest edition in the Big City Christmas from Country Cottage Needleworks. It's the hotel. I don't know. Can you see that? All right, I'm going to have to open it up. Sorry for the crinkling. How's that? So I thought about canceling this, but then I went in and I looked, and there's only 2 more. So, you know, if you don't have the whole big city, what's the point, right? Right. So I also got my set P for the Lori Holt stitch cards. If you want to get a, you know, subscription type thing and something very, very simple, this is great because the stitch cards, they come in a set of 4. Now this is set P, and you can see it's got like a sewing quilting theme. And so you get 4 cards. You didn't see that? Okay. And, you know, they're only, what is it, 34 by 34. You can make these into pillows. You could make these into ornaments. You could make these into little hangy doodads. So, yeah, great stuff. While I was ordering that fabric for the bags, I found this quilt pattern, and I thought, you know, this would be easy enough to do with some scraps. Going to be a lot, and I would get a lot of half square triangle, what I call bonus triangles. I got that from Bonnie Hunter from Quiltville. She saves everything. So when you trim off a triangle, like on a flying goose, or other unit, then you get a bonus, and you can use that triangle, half square triangle, in something else. So I got that. Peppermint twist. I thought that was pretty from the pattern basket. I also had ordered this from Hands On Design. Love my stitching. Um, and it's meant to be put on a project bag, but I mean, you could put it on, it could just be a flat fold or something like that. But I thought it was cute, and I like that aqua color. Don't know which one it is, but it only takes 3 colors, so you could pretty much pick your own colors. You could get the fabric and match the colors. So I got that. And I don't know if I showed you my market haul, so I'm going to show you anyway. So when I did my market pre-orders, I got Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery Summer Garden at Cranberry Manor. This is only 118 by 108, and it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 threads. A couple Gentle Arts, 1 week's dye works, and the rest are classic color works. So I'm looking forward to stitching that. I thought it was pretty. So again, it has a house. I'm really learning to love houses, and it has those little quilt stars on the side. And I love cranberries. Dried cranberries, cranberry sauce, cranberry juice, cranberry. Part of my market haul was Teresa Kogut's Beauty Fades. I love her skirt. And of course the houses. So I thought that one was pretty. Now this is one that I had fallen in love with, and I was told it was an out of print chart. Well, then lo and behold, Blackbird decided to release these 3 charts in one book. So the one I had fallen in love with was this. House, quilt star, flag. History teacher, nerding out. But then it also came with these 2. Now I don't know if I'll do the scissor thing, but I could definitely see me making the eagle pin keep. So if you like Blackbird and you like patriotic stuff, I would jump on this, because if it goes, it goes. I would not think she would release it again. Another one I got was the Praiseworthy Stitches Simple Gifts Snow. Me and my Quakers, but I love that, and it's all blues. 3 different blues. And they're all weeks: Americana, Blue Bonnet, and then Snowflake, which is the white. You could also use the DMC, and then she uses a Kreinik blending filament, which I have never used. She uses it on the Snowflake, so that's personal preference. I guess if you want them to bling, you use the Kreinik. Student a week title Simple Gifts. It doesn't say what. 32 count crystal Ariel from Picture This Plus. So it looks like it's a light blue mottled. And then I also got the Be Beautiful sampler by Twin Peak Primitives. I just like the border. Love the border. So that's on my list. I think that's it. Okay, so now let's talk about the retreat haul. So the one cool thing about sitting with people is that you learn about new little gidgy gadgets. And when I stitch, I'm always looking down at my chart, and down and over, down and over. Well, one of the gals at the table, and then lo and behold, I noticed, like many people at other tables, had this cool little metal book stand. So if you just look up, this is from Amazon. If you Google on Amazon, I guess you don't Google on Amazon. If you Amazon on Amazon, then just look up metal book stand, And this thing comes in many, many different colors. There's teal, there's pink, there's blue, there's black, there's, of course, I had to have the red because that's my favorite color. And the nice thing about it is that you can stand it up at different angles. And then you have the little jiggy stand thing back here. And then it will fold up, right? And it will fit into your project bag. So it's very portable. Whoops. All right. So yeah, I've made use of it and I love it. And there you go. Okay. So that's cool. All right. Here we go. Oh, there's another thing I forgot. Sorry about that. I also got I won a giveaway from Carla at Cobweb Corner, and I won the color and cotton flosses. And I didn't think about it when I emailed her the first time, but I emailed her back and said, hey, bring them to Pittsburgh, but she had already mailed them. So there's those. I thought they were pretty. I love the red. Mom touched the Pope. Love Rocket. It's like a grayish blue. Ice Cream Queen, which is like a tutti frutti type. I don't think you can see. Oh, this light's terrible. No, that's worse. Fruits de la Terre. It's like a purpley fuchsia. And I Love You, You Idiot, which is like a greenish teal. So, anyway, that was cool. And then Jody from the Steel City Stitchers had this on her table, and I absolutely love this movie. So I had to come home and I had to order it. The unofficial Hocus Pocus cross stitch book. And I know the one chart in here that I will be doing is this one, because this is like one of my favorite sayings. Winifred says this at the beginning of the movie. Oh, look, another glorious morning makes me sick. And I love her teeth. So yes, I will be doing that. So I got that. Oh, this is another favor that I got from someone from Farmhouse Flossie. She had some floss cards here as well with her business card. All right, here we go. Yes. Oh, there's some other haul in here. I just dropped something. Oh, there it is. I just threw a bunch of it. When I came home and my mail was sitting there, I just threw it all away. All right, so other haul I got that has nothing to do with the retreat. So I had purchased this. This is a marbled bunny from X-Jew Designs, I believe. And somebody on Stash Unloading was selling it, and it's a 46 count, and I thought, sure, I'm game, what the heck. But it's sort of like a pinkish, oh, does that help? I don't know, pinkish tan. I guess that helps. Yeah, that's better. Doesn't do me any good, but alright, so I got that. Alright, and one of the gals was giving away these cute little tissue, well, it's not giving away, but she was trading. You know, these were some of her favors, and she made these little tissue things, which I love because I need for my purse or my backpack. So that's that. Some other haul I got was I got some zippers with the big pulls. I ordered these from Etsy before I left, and they came in. So I use those on project bags. Oh, here's my name tag. I think that's it. think that's it. Oh, one of the gals in the Steel City Stitchers retreat group, everybody was talking about the seed beads for the retreat pattern. And I said, well, I have extra beads. You have to buy a whole pack of beads to get the 5 or whatever you need. I said, give me your address and I'll send you some. And she said, okay, what can I send you back? And I said, I'm not worried about it. If you really insist on getting me something, bring me a skein of floss at the retreat. And she brought me 2. You can never have enough 613. And I love this color, 350. It's like reminds me of a Southwest orangey red. I like it. So I got those. And then while I was walking around handing out my floss tags, I'm going to guess this is the gal that from Forbidden Fiber Co. But she said, would you like some floss? And I said, are you sure? And she said, yeah, here, take what you want. She had like, I don't know, 4 or 5 skeins of 2 different colors. And she said, just take it all. I'm like, are you serious? She said, yeah, just take it all. So I took it back to the table and I said, here, guys, I was just given all this, so take what you want. So I kept a skein of Gargoyle, which is like a gray, and Chameleon, which is swampy green, I guess you could say. But they're beautiful. So I have those. And so now, are you ready for the haul from Retreat? So Crafty U, as I said, comes in from Ohio. And so they had bagged up the 2023 Nashville flosses. And I didn't realize it at the time, but the 4 new Classic Colorworks were also in the bag, and I had already ordered them. So I'm going to be giving those to my enabler friend, Chris, the camping stitcher. But also in it were 2 Gentle Arts sampler threads. One is habanero, sort of like a pinkish or corally orange. The other one is Ohio Sky, which is like a silver gray white. Then there were some weeks in here, and this is what really drew me, was the weeks. I didn't even realize the other ones are in there. But there's Mountain Mist, which is like a tealish blue, and China, or Chia like in Chia Pet, which is like a silver gray. Winnie Bee Blue, I love that. I'm a big Winnie the Pooh fan. It's a silvery blue. Apple Pucker, which is like a green apple. And sun-dried, like sun-dried tomatoes. So I just thought they were great. So I'm going to put those in my weeks box and whatever other box I have. So I got those. I bought 2 pair of these tiny little scissors. I'd always wanted to try them, and I thought, okay, while I'm there. And people have said these are really, really sharp. So I'm kind of anxious to see how they do. And the nice thing is that they have their own little case, and it's attached. And yeah. So if I'm liking these, you never know, I might get some more and put 1 in each bag, which would be like 15 pair. So anyway, so I got those. Don't need that bag anymore. I had looked at this for market and I didn't get it, but Diane from Silver Creek Samplers, this one was such a big hit that she also had t-shirts made, which you could order. But and she's just north of me in north central PA, I believe it is, or out near Pittsburgh, I'm not really sure. But it's introverted but will eagerly discuss everything cross stitch. So yes, I thought that was cute. So I'm looking forward to stitching that. Now she has it done on brown sugar 18 count Ada from Fiber on a Whim. but you could do it on whatever you want. So that's that. I bought New York because I had lived in New York as a kid. So I'm going to add that to my collection. Looking forward to that. I had eyed this as a market release and didn't get it, but then I decided to get it. This is Leela's Studio Spring Quaker. So I bought that one. You know, it's got the Quaker, it's got the alphabet, it's got the basket, and in the basket are the houses. So, you know, that's pretty cool. And it's done on 40 count sand dune by Seraphim. It's 268 by 215, so it's another big one. You know, go big or go home. You know what I mean? I am never going to stitch all this. I also had eyed but did not buy the Patriotic Smalls book by Twin Peaks. And now that I am confident enough to make pillows, yes. And I also got, I had eyed this one before retreat, but I did not get it. And so I picked it up there. It's by Luminous Fiber Arts, Gathering Stitches. So I like that one. And I believe she's a Pennsylvania girl too. Not sure. And then, of course, because I'm a red girl, I had to get this. So this is Flea Market Red by Violets and Verses. The nice thing about monochromatic samplers is that, you know, you use one color. You don't have to change them. This is done with Auvert Soie silk, but, you know, you could use anything, really. This was stitched on Seraphim antique lace. But it's so pretty. It's red. Oh. I found this piece of Seraphim Dusty Road. It's a fat quarter, I believe. Or maybe it's I don't know. But it's pretty full. So I found that. And then Chris, the camping stitcher, see, I told you she's an enabler. She had introduced me to Flannel Flower from Fox and Rabbit. Well, like I said, if you're going to go big, either go big or go home. I bought a yard. I figured, you know what? I can cut it down. So it's got this really cool purpley gray modeling in it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's beautiful. So with all that, I've been thinking, you know, maybe I should not have 2 Fabric of the Month clubs. So I'm deciding which one I want to give up. I'm not sure, because I'm in the Fabric of the Month club from Be Stitch Me and also from Color and Cotton. And I also get the Color and Cotton floss. So we'll see what I do. I don't know. So that's my haul. And finally, I did get some happy mail. A gal had watched one of my earlier videos and emailed me or messaged me and said, hey, I just watched your video, and I would like to send you Delaware. Now this is from Amanda in Mississippi, and I said, well, are you sure? I don't want to. She said, no, I'm never going to do it. So or she got it in a kit or something, I don't remember. So yeah, I've been to Delaware, driven through Delaware, been to Delaware. We went to the DuPont estate, Winneter, I think it is. And we also went into Delaware to see the Downton Abbey exhibit when it was there. But, I mean, that counts in my book. So, yes, I'm going to add Delaware to my list. So I'm excited. I am excited. So I think that's it. I do have a couple more. Project bags I'll have to dig out and show you. And go ahead. So I'm sorry, my grandson came in. So I'll dig those out for the next time. But I've been busy stitching, busy filling out my book of days. The new WIPGO numbers were chosen. Thank you. So I have to start working on the barn owl from Cottage Garden Samplings Woodland Creature series from last year. And the other one that was chosen was a quilt block from the Prairie Meadow, which is the applique series I was doing. So I need to dig that back out. I'd kind of lost interest in it because I wasn't happy with some of my points, but such is life. So it's almost an hour, and I do apologize. I know that's long. That's another thing. Why do we keep apologizing? I mean, that's just the way it is. But anyway, I'm not going to go on. I'm not going to get on that soapbox, whatever box. So I hope you all have a wonderful 2 weeks. Get some stitching done. Hopefully the weather will warm up, and we can. And I'm going to stop saying and we can get out and get some fresh air. The new wing at school update is they have poured the concrete for the floors. I now have a floor in my new room. There's a floor in the hallway. It will be the hallway. The outside wall is built up. The block is laid up to the base of what will be the windows. But I'll tell you what, my new room looks small. I'm a little worried about that. But I'm not going to worry too much because I may only have 1 year left. It's going to depend a lot on what the retirement system tells me if I go out early. So I have to submit another request for an estimate for 1 year early because they didn't do it. It was too far out. So, here's some other things I got. Some other fabric I got. I saw this on Etsy, and I fell in love with it. It reminds me of like an old general store type thing. So, yeah. I thought that was cute. And then she also had this. It looks like old flour sacks. And then she packed it with these two. So, yeah. I gotta stop shopping. All right, so have a wonderful 2 weeks. Get some stitching done. As I said a minute ago, I'm repeating myself. And have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.